Welcome back to our channel, soap fans. Today is a phenomenal day to dive deep into the latest Forrester, Logan, and Spencer chaos. We have a massive breakdown of the most explosive spoilers hitting your screens this week, so buckle up and let's get right into the high-stakes drama. The Monaco fallout has landed in Los Angeles like a nuclear bomb, and the collateral damage is absolutely catastrophic. Steffy Forrester Finnegan and Carter Walton are both drowning in heartbreak and bottom-shelf liquor, but this late-night office rendezvous is not heading toward a scandalous bedroom hookup. The vibe inside the Forrester Creations CEO office is ice-cold, calculated, and absolutely lethal. Steffy is a woman pushed to the absolute brink, traumatized by John Finnegan's ultimate betrayal on the shores of Monte Carlo. She hurled her wedding ring at her husband's chest and fled across the Atlantic, and now she is staring down the barrel of a life permanently haunted by Sheila. Steffy does not want comfort. She wants a permanent solution, and Carter might be exactly the man to execute it. Carter Walton is a man who has lost everything. His dream of a traditional family with Daphne Rose Walton has been shattered by her devastating early menopause diagnosis. The gut-wrenching guilt has driven Daphne away, leaving Carter alone in the dark, pouring drink after drink. When a feral, intoxicated Steffy crashes into his office, these two broken souls collide in the most dangerous way possible. Do not expect a seductive romance here. The tension crackles with a killer instinct. Steffy looks Carter dead in the eye and demands to be free of the woman destroying her family. Carter is Forrester's ultimate fixer. He handles contracts, corporate crises, and legal warfare. But will he cross the ultimate line? Is Steffy asking Carter to eliminate Sheila once and for all? The dangerous glint in Carter's eye suggests he has absolutely nothing left to lose, and a deadly pact may be forming right before our eyes. Later in the week, the stakes for Carter shift dramatically. He and Daphne finally come face to face for a gut-wrenching conversation. This is not a magical reconciliation or a passionate reunion. This is a tearful, agonizing acceptance of their fractured reality. Daphne is paralyzed by the heartbreaking truth of her infertility, and Carter is forced to look his shattered future in the face. They reach a fragile, devastating understanding. This closure, however painful, effectively severs Carter's last remaining tether to his old life. He is a free agent in the most dangerous sense of the word. With his romantic dreams reduced to ashes, Carter is given the ultimate green light to go dark. If Steffy needs a hitman, a fixer, or a ruthless ally to wipe Sheila off the map, Carter is now perfectly positioned to take the job without looking back. Midweek, the tension at the Cliff House reaches a boiling point. John Finnegan boards a desperate flight back to Los Angeles, frantic to save his crumbling marriage. He begs, he pleads, and he demands a chance to explain his silence regarding Sheila's presence in Monaco. Steffy is forced to grapple with the agonizing reality of her situation. Can she ever truly forgive the man who allowed her would-be murderer to stalk them on their romantic getaway? The emotional whiplash is brutal. Steffy wrestles with the lingering love she holds for her husband versus the primal terror of Sheila's looming shadow. Even if Steffy manages to calm down and listen to Finn's pathetic excuses, the Sheila situation is a ticking time bomb. The trust is shattered, and Steffy knows that as long as Sheila breathes, her family is a massive target. Steffy's internal war is tearing her apart, and Finn's desperate apologies might not be enough to stop the lethal wheels she has already set in motion with Carter. Across town, Katie Logan Spencer is launching a ruthless, one-woman war against Melissa Dillon. Katie's maternal instincts are screaming, and she is officially on the hunt. She has already had a venomous run-in with Dillon and knows this girl is up to absolutely no good. Dillon is secretly researching the Spencer family's massive fortune, digging into the archives with a predatory hunger. Katie recognizes a gold digger when she sees one, and Dillon's calculated, secretive maneuvers are setting off massive red flags. The terrifying echoes of past manipulators are ringing in Katie's ears, and she is determined to expose Dillon before she sinks her claws permanently into the Spencer empire. Katie is not just suspicious. She is weaponizing her resources to annihilate Dylan's hidden agenda. The tension explodes when Katie storms into the beach house to confront her hot mess of a son. Will is staggering through the wreckage of his love life, drowning his sorrows after Electra Forrester's brutal rejection. But Katie is not there to offer a shoulder to cry on. She backs Will into a corner and launches a ferocious interrogation. She demands to know the absolute truth. If Will loves Electra so much, why on earth is he fooling around with her absolute best friend? It is the ultimate betrayal, and Katie refuses to let Will play the victim. She points out the glaring, massive red flag waving right in front of his face. What kind of supposed best friend would prioritize a hookup over her closest confidant? Dylan is playing a dangerous, calculated game, and Katie forces Will to look at the ugly reality of his rebound romance. Will's pathetic defense crumbles under Katie's maternal fury. He tries to justify the hookup, claiming he was heartbroken and vulnerable, but Katie shuts him down instantly. She warns him that Dylan is not a safe harbor. She is a predator circling a wounded heir. Katie lays out the facts, highlighting Dylan's shady research and her complete lack of loyalty to Electra. Will is forced to confront the horrifying possibility that he is being used as a pawn in a much larger, much darker game. Katie leaves the beach house with a final, chilling warning. Cut ties with Melissa Dylan immediately, or watch the Spencer family legacy burn to the ground. Will is left standing in the silence, the weight of his mother's accusations crashing down on him like a tidal wave. The corporate battlefield at Forrester Creations turns into a literal war zone when Electra Forrester finally corners Melissa Dylan. Electra is horrified, furious, and out for blood. She gets right in Dylan's face, her voice dripping with venom, and delivers a ruthless threat. Electra reminds Dylan of her elite status, screaming that she holds the power to have Dylan thrown out of the building permanently. The threat of termination hangs heavy in the showroom air, a promise of total professional annihilation. Dylan is cornered, but she is far from defeated. She stares back with a smug, defiant glare, knowing exactly how to play the corporate game. Electra's fury is a blazing inferno, but Dylan's calculated silence is a terrifying weapon all its own. Electra is fully prepared to march into the CEO office and demand Dylan's immediate firing, but a massive corporate roadblock slams the brakes on her revenge. Forrester Creations is currently drowning in a sea of bad public relations. The ongoing fashion wars, the Spencer family brawls, and the chaotic executive shakeups have left the company vulnerable to scandal. The last thing Ridge and Steffi need is a messy, public wrongful termination lawsuit or a tabloid leak about the Forrester heiress firing an assistant over a beach house hookup. Electra is given a bitter, infuriating order. She must deal with Dylan's presence for now. The forced proximity turns the Forrester design offices into a pressure cooker. Electra is seething, forced to bite her tongue while Dylan struts through the hallways, wearing her untouchable status like a badge of honor. Every glance is a dagger. Every shared meeting is a battlefield. Electra is plotting her next move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike when the PR nightmare blows over. But Dylan is not just sitting idle. She is embedding herself deeper into the company, securing her position and daring Electra to make a move. The tension between the former best friends is a ticking time bomb, and when it finally detonates, it threatens to take the entire Forrester Creations empire down with it. Meanwhile, the creative friction at Forrester Creations sparks a bitter new rivalry. RJ Forrester is riding high on his newfound ambition, fueled by his blossoming romance with Electra and his desperate desire to prove himself. He marches straight to Zend Forrester Dominguez and pitches a bold, aggressive idea for a brand new youth line. RJ wants to capture the younger demographic, and he expects Zend to jump on board. But Zend is a man pushed to his absolute breaking point. His entire hope for the future collection was unceremoniously shelved, leaving him creatively stifled, resentful, and bitter. RJ parading his shiny new pitch is like rubbing salt in a gaping wound. Zend glares at RJ, the resentment boiling over. This is not just a business pitch. It is a massive clash of egos that threatens to tear the design team apart from the inside out. Zend feels entirely underappreciated, watching the anointed Forrester son waltz in with ideas while his own hard work rots in the archives. RJ is oblivious to the depth of Zend's rage, pushing his youth line agenda with a blind, arrogant confidence. The design office becomes a battleground of creative control, setting the stage for a spectacular corporate sabotage if Zend decides he has finally had enough of playing second fiddle. The week culminates in a catastrophic, highly tense collision at the Bikini Bar. Will Spencer and Melissa Dillon walk into the establishment, attempting to navigate their messy, complicated new dynamic after Katie's brutal interrogation? The atmosphere is already strained, but it shatters completely when RJ Forrester and Electra Forrester stroll through the doors. It is the ultimate awkward run-in. For people tangled in a web of betrayal, jealousy, and corporate warfare, suddenly occupying the exact same space. The air is thick enough to cut with a knife, and the temperature in the room plummets to freezing. Will locks eyes with Electra, the heartbreak and regret instantly washing over his face. He sees the woman he desperately loves standing by the side of his absolute worst enemy. RJ puffs out his chest, wrapping a protective, smug arm around Electra, silently daring Will to make a move. Electra's gaze shifts to Dillon, her eyes narrowing with pure, unadulterated hatred. Dillon stands her ground, her predatory instincts flaring as she claims her spot next to the Spencer heir. Nobody moves. Nobody speaks. The silence in the Bikini Bar is deafening, a volatile powder keg just waiting for a single spark. Will's fists clench at his sides as he fights the urge to launch himself across the room. RJ smirks, relishing the power dynamic and the agonizing pain etched across Will's face. Electra turns her back, a cold, calculated dismissal that cuts Will deeper than any physical blow. Dillon leans in, whispering something calculated into Will's ear, ensuring that Electra sees their intimacy. The tension is unbearable, setting the stage for an explosive physical confrontation. Will these bitter rivals tear each other apart right in the middle of the bar? Or will the psychological warfare continue to simmer in the shadows? Will Steffy and Carter actually pull the trigger on Sheila? Or will Finn find a way to save his marriage before the hit goes down? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below and subscribe for more.